I've always said the M140i will be a future classic at some point. It's the last rear-wheel drive, straight six hot hatch from BMW we will most certainly ever see. Now these normally come with a ZF8 gearbox, which is absolutely brilliant, unless you're a man and you opt for the manual, which is the case of this one here. I'm joking, the ZF8 and these are really, really good, especially when you combine it with the B58 engine. I've had an M140i before, but I've never driven the manual. And by the way, this car looks standard. It's totally not. Stay tuned for more. I'm Max Tavani. Welcome to Driven Plus. So firstly, we're going to start under the bonnet of the M140i. It sits the legendary B58 engine, which is a 3-litre straight six engine. Now the standard horsepower on these is 335 horsepower and 500 Newton meters of torque. And out of the box, these things are really, really quick. However, the owner of this car wanted more horsepower. Isn't that right, Gaz? Yes, he did. So we took it to my mate and his mate, Tom Wrigley, and he gave it a stage 2 plus tune on it, which now produces 448 horsepower and 700 Newton meters of torque. So let's have a look what's been done. Yeah, those things frisbee really, really well. Really fun, by the way. You should try it out if you own a M140i or 240i. Now we've got a K&N panel filter, MMR induction pipe, the M3 plugs, TU pump, which is the upgraded high pressure fuel pump, the 550i clutch, because in America they run them with a V8 manual, so it's got an upgraded clutch, mid pipe. So yeah, it certainly has some tasty modifications, which we'll find out how good they are on the road very, very shortly. Now normally a stage 2 plus B58 produces around 480 horsepower. The reason this runs 448 is because it complies with UK track day noise regulations, hence why it's been brought down. It's still got the standard cat-in, although it does have an upgraded mid-pipe, which means it sounds something like this. That's really, really sweet. Now, some of you eagle-eyed viewers will notice that this car sits lower than usual. It does. That's because it sits on KW coilovers, and it's also got an LSD, which has been fitted by A1 Autohaus. So hopefully this should help it with a 0 to 60 time. BMW claim the standard manual M140i does it in 4.8 seconds. So let's see if all these mods have helped the 0 to 60 time. Okay, so it's time to launch a manual M140i from 0 to 60. BMW say 4.8 seconds, however, this one's 450-ish horsepower. So let's see what we can get. Let's put it in first. We've got traction half off. Let's hold it. Come on! What we got? 4.33. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that, to be fair. That's really, really quickly. We're going to try one more because I think what slope we're on, plus 0.7%. Let's see what it's going to be like on a plus 0%. Run number 2. Let's brake boost it again. Ooh, bit of wheel spin from the PS5s there. 4.32, that's 0.01 seconds off it. So there you go, it does 4.3 seconds pretty much consistently. One thing which annoys me about these M140i's is how they look out the box. It's just a bit meh, isn't it, for a hot hatch. I think it needs bigger tips, bit of a diffuser, and somewhat of a spoiler. Nothing too in your face though, just a little bit subtle, just for you to know it's a fast car, because at a glance you could mistake this for a 118i M Sport. Another thing these definitely need is upgraded brakes. I upgraded the pads and fluid in mine, and they were good, but these definitely do go nicely with an upgraded braking system. Now, I absolutely love M140i's. I had one for about 18 months, and I did absolutely everything you could to one. LSD, TU pump, stage 2 plus. It was about 480 horsepower. What else do you want from a hot hatch? I only lowered mine with springs. However, this has the coilovers, the KW coilovers, which is a big thing for me, because that's one thing I wish I did. Because there's one full point about the M140i's is how floaty they are. Series of bends here, put my foot down. You see this has an element of trust to it. Like when the normal M140i's, they're good, but they're not good enough to put all your trust in a corner, whereas this adds that missing link of connection. Turn the traction off, and it's an absolute weapon, especially with it being manual as well. Yeah, this is a really nice, bizarre experience for an M140i. Rare. So what's it like to drive a manual B58? I'll be honest, it felt weird at first, because how often do we see these with that ZF8 auto box, which is great, by the way. You know, that combination of the B58 and the auto box is sublime, it really is. However, come to a manual gearbox and everything just changes. The way this car delivers the power, it's more aggressive, I think, because you've only got 6 gears to do so, whereas obviously ZF8's got 8 gears, so it's ZF8 is smoother. This is definitely more aggressive, more manual, and it definitely takes the connection to the car that extra bit more, and it auto blips as well. I'm going to put it from 3rd to 2nd. See? That is so aggressive. Oh, especially when you drive this with the traction off as well. Proper driver's car. Now that ZF8 gearbox, when you've tuned it or when you put a map on it, it changes gears really aggressively and really quickly. This is a much more unique experience, and in 20 years time the manual M140i is going to be the most sought after, because future classics go off a few things: how many were produced and how popular they were. These are definitely popular. A lot of people my age, around 24, are going to say in a few years to come, oh, I had one of them when I was younger. But then saying that, BMW did produce a lot of M140i's, but one thing they didn't produce many of is the manual. So if you're going to buy one to put away, definitely buy the manual. So would I have another M140i? Yes, but only for a project such as track car, like Gaz has bought this one, he's got an M5, or something high power to build something silly power. Because I've had one of these, and once you've experienced owning one, and once you experience owning one and going to a M car, the step up is incomparable. It's night and day. But one thing I really miss from my M140i is the fact that you can really chuck this around and bring out its playful behaviour, and the fact it wants to kill you. It's so fast, and you can't beat that single turbo tone of the B58. You really can't. Drop it down. Come on, sir. I'll be honest, I was glad I got out my M140i when I did, because you see too many of them over modified. You know what I mean. The reputation of them has dropped slightly because they're cheap power. A lot of youngsters can afford it. I was 19 when I had mine, and lucky nothing happened to me. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't know how to handle these cars. They tune them because you can go down the street, pay 400 or 500 quid, and you've got 440 horsepower, open diff. As soon as the rain comes, you've hit a tree. Which is one bad point about the M140i. You know, they're a great driver's car, but I think some people ruin the experience of owning this fantastic beast. I really do. I'd like to thank you for watching my video on the M140i today. I have to say, I've had much more fun with it being manual than auto today. The autos are great, especially if you're going to daily it. However, if you're going to get this out on the weekend, I think the price point they're at now, 13 to 17 grand, something maybe. Get the manual, get it tuned by Tom Wrigley, go see Gaz at A1 Autohaus, let him put an LSD for you in, and the KW coilovers, and you've got yourself an absolute weapon. That's the word for this car, weapon. Oh, it's so fast, and I just love the way it's just so aggressive. I'm going to stay in this car a little bit longer. Anyway, cheers guys, make sure you like and subscribe. See you later.